Alright, welcome back to Studio 2185. Forgot to mention that in the previous videos. These videos come to you from Canyon City Media and Studio 2185. Studio 2185 is a privately owned subscriber-based studio. We have probably 25 to 30 people who attend this studio. They pay a dues, I suppose, and that gives them use of the studio. What we're going to do today is a bowl. Come on, a simple bowl. What's so simple about a bowl? You know what? It seems that almost the first thing anybody throws is a bowl, but it's not a very nice bowl. So I'm going to show you how to throw a bowl intentionally. Now remember the centering from our last videos. We've got our lump of clay in the middle. Now we've got to center it. So we start by downward force. Remember, the left hand is applying force towards the center, while the right hand is applying the downward force. When we pull up for the cone, both hands are squeezing in, which causes the clay to come up through the hands. So that comes up. Now I cover it over with my thumb and push it back down, always keeping the left hand in there to keep it from spreading too far or going cattywampus. Because nobody likes a cattywampus putt. So we'll do this a few times because, as I said in the other videos, there are eddy currents within the body of the clay that must be aligned. If they're not all aligned, then no matter what you do, no matter how centered your clay looks when you start, you're going to have an irregularity somewhere in the middle that's going to throw it off on you. Then you're going to end up with one side a tad bit thicker than the other side. Now remember, you want to feel what's going on in the clay. Don't just do a thing and think that you have succeeded. You have to feel the results. And in this clay, I can feel bubbles, and I can feel some spots that are a little bit stiffer than the rest. This clay's been sitting out for some time. It's had time to start to dry out in places, and even though I wedged it, it's still that way. So now what we want to do first is a cylinder. All right, just a simple cylinder. This is probably one of the toughest exercises for the new folks, is just getting a simple cylinder. When you're throwing, you want to kind of almost imagine or even feel like you're throwing towards the center, so you end up with conical sides or vertical sides. Sometimes it takes thinking you're going to the middle just to get a vertical side, because, well, the clay tends to, and your physiology tends to want to move away from the middle instead of into it. So I've got my sides just about as thick as I want them, and I'm going to pull out the lip. Oh, back up, erase, erase, erase. Something else that need be done first, and that is, let's trim off this foot. because by the time you get your bowl shaped, you're not going to be able to get down here to do this. Now the reason why the camera is on my left side instead of my right, which is where you would see most of the work being done since I'm right-handed, is because I want you to see this interior wall on this side, because that's where the shaping is going to happen. Okay, so we need to bring out the wall a bit. I'm not thinning, I'm not putting any pressure with my right hand other than to help guide the clay a little bit. You want to make this rim, you want to pull it out to about as far as you want your pot to be, okay? If you want it 10 inches across, start out by pulling this thing out to 10 inches. I don't have enough clay here for 10 inches, so we're going to stop right there. Now, if you've tried making bowls where you're doing all your shaping with your fingers by pulling out and around or whatever, you always end up with this ridge at the bottom where the foot is. I'm going to show you a technique using your rib that will eliminate that lump at the bottom of your pot. It makes for just a beautifully smooth pot. And the secret is a steel rib. Now that I have the outside diameter of my pot, now I want to shape it. I want the walls to come out nice and round. And I do that from the inside, always pushing the clay down towards the center. Sometimes you can do that in just two or three passes. And then finish the edge. You can use plastic from a plastic bag. You can use a wet paper towel if you have a good firm type of paper towel. I use a piece of old soft leather. You can use a bit of a ShamWow. I hope that isn't considered a commercial for ShamWow. But that's it. That's how quick and simple your bowl is. Now you can do little additional things to it if that's what suits your fancy. But there is your basic bowl. Thank you for joining us at Studio 2185.